Larry Vaughn. He's one of the 2 graduate speakers that was asked to speak tonight.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to share a few words with you. If you're as warm as I am, then you'll also appreciate that I'm going to edit this a little bit. Or get some fans, one of the two. The last time I was in this building, I was 4 years old and had some really uncomfortable shoes, and it's bringing back a lot of memories. I'm older and my shoes are more comfortable. And in many ways, this program has brought me back to a childhood dream. To say that this program changed my life would not be an understatement. To say that this program changed the way I treat my clients and how I service the people that I work with would also not be an understatement. So I just wanted to express a lot of gratitude to my cohort that helped us through the difficult times and the happy times, and the professors who completely gave themselves to our education. And without that process, I would not be nearly as satisfied as I am today with what we've done. I thought I'd run through our course of study with you quickly, very quickly. Our first course was Life Cycle with Dr. Abel. We covered counseling from a life cycle perspective. It was our first class, and it also contained the very first surprise for me, and that was that we were going to be required to work on ourselves as well in this program. Nobody told me that when I signed up for this. I thought I was going to be working on people and working on others, but this course, and in particular Dr. Abel, was able to show me that self-work is an integral part, and as it turned out, it was an integral part of every class that we took. Because of that, my life is quite a bit different. Our second course was an assessment. For those of you that may not be familiar with that, there's a lot of math involved in that. I developed an Axis 1 diagnosis during that course. 308.3 acute stress disorder. 30% of the reason that I chose counseling as a profession was because I'm mathematically challenged. And it being the first course, and I'd been out of school for a couple of years, and this was definitely a stressful time for that first course. Dr. Parsons taught Intro to Professional Counseling. That was an excellent class. I learned how to do peer-reviewed research using Wikipedia and Google. That's not true at all. I just lied in church. Sorry for that. Dr. Parsons introduced us to the APA style of writing and our code of ethics. He also modeled clinical excellence, and I can recall just a number of times that he would share some insights and some thoughts that changed the way I think about the field of counseling. We took counseling theory and technique. We learned how to do what we do, and it is from that class that I learned the techniques that now I don't even think about. I had somebody who was watching me work a few months ago ask me what I was doing, and I had to think about what to call it. It had become pretty commonplace for me, and those tools were taught during that course. I took systemic theory. It was taught by Dr. Staples, and that course changed my life. I resonated with the concept that all behavior makes sense in context. Joining and unbalancing systems has turned into a hobby of mine. The course also made me look at my personal systems and evaluate the health of those systems. Radical personal changes in my life were made as a result of this theory. I took psychopathology. It was kind of like a family reunion. Dr. Dan taught me how to use the DSM. I was really dreading tackling this book. I kind of agree with Glasser, who called the book the Big Red Book of Unhappiness, but Dr. Dan was excellent in his instruction. If you've had Dr. Dan for anything, you know that you will not leave a course of his without being changed. He reminds me if Alfred Adler and Uncle Buck had a baby, it would be Dr. Dan. Dr. Abel taught internship and practicum and applied treatment, and these experiences were essential to to my development as a counselor. I remember the anxiety and the sweat that came on me the first time I had to show a videotape session of mine, and she was very strong and insisting and also very warm, which is a rare combination. That brutal practice of showing my videotape proved very helpful after the waves of nausea subsided. She was able to show and point out the things that were helpful and the things that I needed to work on. Dr. Ambrose taught us group therapy techniques. This area had been an interest of mine long before I had chosen the field of counseling. Yet I was able through that course to add specific interventions to my workplace that I learned directly in this class. Dr. Jen taught us ethics, and that's where we learned not to sleep with our clients.
Thanks, Jen.
We were all dreading the class because when you talk about ethics, there's not a lot of joy and happiness that comes along with that. But by the end of the course, she had made the code come alive to the point that it's made its way into my everyday conversations. I've worked in the field of substance abuse for the past 9 years, so I was looking forward to Dr. Wesley's class, honestly, because I thought I could just kind of ease through it with little effort. It was the first session that I had Dr. Wesley that he challenged some of my deeply held beliefs regarding that field, and he sparked some pretty intensive independent study on my part. Career and research, we finished that off with, to finish off our studies, another math course to finish things off, and career education. Both professors, again, did an excellent job in preparing us for practice and the NCE, and I'm grateful for all of their work. The truth is that this program has been one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. I've been forced to redefine what it means to be a helper. I've even had to redefine myself as I've uncovered and worked on my blind spots. I've had to look for terms that define what we do. Are we counselors? Are we therapists? Are we environmental managers? Are we babysitters? Are we referees? I like the term metaphysical engineer almost better than anything I've heard, although there is one trademark that I like better than that. A few months back, I was in Walmart at 1 o'clock in the morning in the toilet paper aisle. Don't ask. I heard an overhead page that said, "John the Unloader, please come to aisle 5. John the Unloader, please come to aisle 5. I immediately stopped what I was doing, ran over to aisle 5 because I wanted to see what a guy named John the Unloader looked like. Apparently there were 2 Johns that were working that night, and they were called by what they do. And that's when I had a moment of clarity. That's what I want to be called, an unloader. An unloader of guilt and baggage and addiction and fears and doubts. Sometimes our profession can be really complicated when we're talking about descriptive statistics, countertransference, feedback loops, standard deviations. And then there's other times when it can be painfully simple. Over the past couple of weeks, I've had 2 clients come into my office and share their secrets with me, secrets that they've never told another human being, secrets that have been kept for years and years and years, big, deep, painful secrets. And as they told me their secrets, I could see them get lighter in their seats. I could watch their face soften and their shame and their guilt begin to melt away. And I was able to help unload. In telling the secrets, the size of the burden did not get smaller, but now there were 2 people carrying that weight. And that's what counseling has come to mean to me.
Thank you, Larry. Kelly Ruff is also in the graduate program and was asked to speak.